America was once more than a country. It was a myth, a technicolor dreamscape where anything felt possible. It was chrome diners under desert suns, John Wayne on horseback, Marilyn Monroe in the city lights. The world was sold a vision-endless highways, big cities, and the freedom to reinvent yourself. People crossed oceans not just for the sights, but for the feeling, the bigness, the optimism, the chance to be someone new. The American dream wasn't just about wealth. It was about possibility, about trying, seeing, and experiencing something raw and untamed. For decades, the myth was powerful enough to overshadow the messy truth. Tourists came by the millions chasing a story, a piece of history, a taste of the legend. But dreams are fragile, built on stories retold until they become gospel. The postcard version of America, sunny skies, smiling faces, was always an edited reality. It cropped out the grit, the struggle, the complexity. For a long time, the dream was strong enough to hide the cracks. But now, as we look around in 2025, the colors have faded, the glossy finish is gone, revealing a more complicated picture underneath. The myth has worn thin, and the world is starting to see what was left out of the frame. The American dream, once magnetic, now feels uncertain. The question is, can the dream be revived, or is the postcard finally out of print? The answer lies in what comes next. After World War II, America's highways became the veins of a new era. The interstate system made the great American road trip possible for everyone. Families packed up, pointed west, and hit the open road. Freedom you could feel in the hum of the tires. Roadside motels and neon-lit diners became icons, serving up pancakes and coffee to travelers chasing adventure. The car was king, and every turnoff promised a new story, quirky tourist traps, breathtaking vistas, small towns with the best pie you'd ever taste. This wasn't just travel, it was exploration for the common man. You didn't need to be rich to see the Grand Canyon, just a car, some gas, and a sense of wonder. The road trip became a rite of passage, a way to find yourself by getting lost. America's optimism was contagious, and the stories that came back were legendary. The country became the world's ultimate land of discovery. The myth grew. Kindness from strangers, landscapes that defied imagination. The American road trip was about possibility, about the promise of something new just over the next hill. For a long time, the country delivered on that promise. But every golden age has its sunset. The question is, what happens when the road gets rough? The jet age shrunk the world, and America became the ultimate destination. Flights from Tokyo or London to New York were suddenly just a nap and a movie away. Tourists arrived in droves, chasing the icons they'd seen on screen: the Statue of Liberty, Times Square, Hollywood, the Golden Gate. Cities became living movie sets, buzzing with global energy. But it wasn't just the cities. National parks like Yellowstone and the Grand Canyon became cathedrals for a global congregation. These landscapes, vast and wild, were unlike anything in Europe or Asia. For many, seeing them was a near religious experience. The tourism industry professionalized, packaging the American experience into neat, efficient tours. For a while, it worked beautifully. The world was buying what America was selling. Cash registers rang, and the country was the heavyweight champion of global tourism. But as the crowds grew, so did the cracks. The experience became less about discovery, more about consumption. The myth was still alive, but the magic was starting to thin. The world was watching and waiting for something new. America's true genius was its staggering diversity. 50 states, each with its own flavor, rainforests to deserts, skyscrapers to small towns. History was alive in Boston's cobblestones, New Orleans' jazz, Gettysburg's fields. Every city had a distinct personality: Chicago's blues, Austin's weirdness, San Francisco's literary ghosts. You could spend a lifetime exploring and never get bored. And the food, oh the food. From Texas brisket to New York pizza, New England chowder to LA tacos, America's melting pot cuisine was the country on a plate. Forget the fancy restaurants. The real story was in the diners, food trucks, and barbecue pits. This was the America people came to taste. Diverse, unapologetic, and deeply satisfying. The country's variety was its ultimate trump card. But as the world changed, so did the way people experienced it. The buffet was still there, but fewer people were lining up for a plate. The question became, could America keep serving up surprises, or was the menu getting stale? The answer would shape the next chapter of the story, and the world was hungry for something new. Then came the internet, and with it, Instagram. Travel became less about experience, more about the perfect photo. The goal wasn't to see, but to be seen. Iconic spots became backdrops for selfies, not places to explore. People waited in line for the same shot, barely glancing at the real view. The journey was replaced by documentation. The messy, beautiful reality of travel was filtered out. Spontaneity faded. Why get lost when an algorithm could tell you the top 10 most Instagrammable spots? The quirky diner was ignored for the photogenic cafe, the hidden gem for the viral location. Reality couldn't compete with the digital fantasy. Tourists arrived expecting perfection, but found crowds, haze, and the inconvenient truths of real life. The gap between the dream and reality grew, breeding disappointment. The magic was being photoshopped out of existence, and the world started to notice. The cracks widened as the world changed. America became expensive. Hotels, meals, even a simple road trip now cost a fortune. Other countries invested in tourism, offering exotic experiences at a fraction of the price. Why spend a week's budget in California when a month in Vietnam was cheaper and just as thrilling? Internally, the political climate grew tense, the welcome mat replaced by suspicion and stricter visas. News of division and unrest shaped global perceptions. Infrastructure crumbled, potholes, crowded airports, strained service. The hassle of getting around replaced the thrill of adventure. The value proposition eroded and the world took notice. The storm was gathering and America seemed unprepared. The myth of effortless travel was gone. The country's swagger faded, replaced by anxiety and frustration. The question was no longer why not America, but is it worth it? For many, the answer was starting to shift. Then the world shut down. The pandemic hit and tourism stopped overnight. Planes grounded, borders sealed, iconic places emptied. The silence was surreal, a global industry frozen in time. When travel resumed, America lagged behind, tangled in restrictions and confusion. Other countries rolled out the red carpet, America double-checked the locks. The message was clear. The US was no longer the easy, welcoming destination. The economic fallout was brutal. Hotels, restaurants, and small businesses shuttered. Generations of expertise and passion vanished. Rebuilding wouldn't be as simple as flipping a switch. The psychological damage was deeper. The illusion of a connected world was shattered. Travelers became cautious, seeking safer, closer, less chaotic destinations. The bucket list urge to see America was replaced by a new question: is it worth the hassle? For many, the answer was no. The myth had broken and the world moved on. The challenge now: could America find its way back? America's fall wasn't sudden. It was death by 1,000 cuts. The country got complacent, assuming its top spot was guaranteed. Costs soared, value dropped, and the experience felt transactional. Visitors felt like wallets, not guests. The industry kept selling the same old postcards, ignoring the rich diversity between the coasts. Overcrowded, overpriced hotspots led to disappointment and neglect of hidden gems. The story America told about itself became confused, anxious, and negative. News of conflict and inequality drowned out the old myth of opportunity. The magic trick was revealed, and the audience saw the wires. Once the illusion was gone, it was hard to bring back the wonder. The world had more choices, and America was no longer the obvious one. The question now: could the country rewrite its story? Is the American travel story over? Maybe, but don't count it out yet. America has a habit of reinventing itself. Revival will take more than a new slogan, it needs real change. Invest in infrastructure, clean trains, efficient airports, transparent pricing. Show visitors their time and money are respected. Fix the basics and the rest can follow. Change the story. Celebrate small towns, diverse neighborhoods, and the real food culture. Sell authenticity, not sanitized fantasy. The revival depends on reviving the American spirit: openness, curiosity, generosity. Be a good host, a smile, a helping hand, a genuine conversation. These are the moments people remember. The future isn't in bigger theme parks, but in back roads and diners, in simple human connections. The road to recovery is long, but it's worth traveling. The American dream isn't dead, it's waiting for a new chapter. The world is watching. What story will America tell next?